I'm Andy Parkin, Managing Director of the Multi-Award-Winning Speed Screed. I'm here today to talk about Ultraflo Screed. This is a liquid screed. It's calcium sulphate. It's a hemihydrate, calcium sulphate. It's pump applied, and it comes in a what you class as a liquid format. So it's liquid screed, some people call it flow screed, covers various applications. So what you typically expect it to do is it's a leveling screed for use with underfloor heating. It can be bonded, unbonded, floating construction. It's suitable for residential and commercial floors. So if we look at what are the key features, you're looking at probably the first thing that sticks out is that it's very low shrinkage. So when you think about a sand and cement screed, the shrinkage is greater. With the calcium sulphate, you don't have anything near the same amount of shrinkage, which is quite remarkable considering the amount of water that's actually in the mix. And because there's no cement within the product, it's calcium sulphate, you don't have the issues with curling that you'll sometimes get with sand and cement. And so you've got minimized shrinkage cracking and no curling. The movement joints that you would normally place in the screed can obviously be expanded as well because there's lower shrinkage. It can be trafficked usually after 24 hours. 48 hours at the outside if the site conditions aren't the best. The productivity, you can look at something between 1,500 and 2,000 square meters can be achieved, assuming that you've got a local supplier and a good rate of delivery and the building lends itself to higher productivity. You can reduce the thicknesses in comparison to a traditional sand and cement screed. The reduced depth does mean that you're experiencing faster drying, again as against a traditional sand and cement, not against a modified sand and cement, but also the weight will be reduced if you're going in, say for example, at 40 mil instead of 65 mil. If you would like, you can also force dry this product. So literally after 7 days, you can turn the underfloor heating on and this will help to force dry the screed. So that will reduce the drying times. The density of the product means that the efficiency of the floor is greater. So it's quicker to heat and it's quicker to cool down. So it's more responsive. So the shrinkage element means that you're able to put in movement joints and shrinkage when you're actually looking at around about 1,000 square meters. So it'd be 1,000 square meters on a 2:1 aspect ratio. If it starts to get more elongated, then you would reduce that 1,000 square meters. If it's a heated screed, you'd also again reduce it to 300 square meters on the same ratio. Movement joints can be placed in doorways. Typically, that's probably the easiest and traditionally is the weakest point of the screed. The other reason for putting in joints is that if you've got different heating zones, so you may decide you want to differentiate between two heating zones, you're going to heat one at 16, one at 20. So that might be a reason also to separate those areas. Compaction wise, traditionally with sand and cement, you've got to make sure you get the compaction right. The characteristics of Ultraflo means that it is self-compacting. So meaning that you don't have to worry about that compaction element. It's really just all centered around the placement. In terms of durability, it's as with all screeds, or virtually all screeds, it is a non-wearing screed, and it requires a covering on the surface to take the wear. So Ultraflo can be used with all standard floor coverings, so you can use it with tiles, wood, carpets, vinyls, and even wet areas. For wet areas, you would need to take particular care. Ultraflo isn't designed to be in regular contact with water, such as communal showers, etc. The wet rooms are okay, providing you have got certain protection. If there's any breakdown, any egress of water into the screed, then you may experience delamination. So it's probably best to avoid areas of regular contact with water. With it being a fluid product, it's actually pumped into place. To give you a rough idea, 6 cubic meters takes approximately 30 minutes to pump in. The finish is completed with a dapple bar, which is to remove any trapped air bubbles and create a level surface. Before any floor applications go down, the screed must be sufficiently dry, and it's always best to take a moisture reading before you actually do this. So, but to give you an idea, you're looking at 1% moisture for impermeable floor coverings, such as vinyls, and for carpets, you're looking at, it could be 1% or more for carpets, because there is a certain amount of breathability. So generally 1% you'd look for ceramics, and really down to 0.5% for vinyls. If the screed is to be bonded and it's to going onto a cementitious substrate, so say it's going onto concrete, then a primer would need to be used, as the two are not directly compatible. So it's just a case of using a primer there. The minimum depths that you can use this product are bonded 25mm, unbonded 30mm, floating 35mm for domestic and 40mm for commercial. When using underfloor heating, so if you've got underfloor heating pipes, there needs to be 30mm of coverage to those pipes. So that's Ultraflo. If you've any other questions, then please let me know and I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.